Hey, I just got back from the beach, went down the Silver Strand this morning in Oxnard to rediscover my roots as a bodyboarder, and just had a great time. But as I was going out in the water, it's 7:30 in the morning, suiting up with two friends of mine. This guy walks up to us. He's got a white shirt on, a nice tie, slacks, and shoes. So he's dressed like he's ready to go to church. And he walks up, "Hey, how you guys doing?" And we're like, "Yeah, we're doing good. How you doing?" He goes, "I'm good. So you guys going out in the water, huh?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Do you guys get really cold out there?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, it gets cold, but we're fine." And he goes, "Do you see very many sharks?" And the guy starts talking to us. It's kind of weird because he's all suited up. And we're like, no, don't really see any sharks. And make a joke about sharks. And I go, "Well, where are you from?" He's from Chicago. And he goes, "I'm just down here visiting some friends and wanted to come down to the beach early in the morning and just I like checking in with people." And I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." And so we're about to walk away and he goes, "Hey, by the way, I wondered if you might want to look at these." And he handed me these pamphlets from his church or his religious organization, I should probably say. And he goes, "I just wanted to know if you guys wanted to check these out." And I was looking at him and I thought, "No, I'm good. I'm good. You know, I go to church and I'm pretty focused on Christ and what I'm doing." And then as I was walking away, I realized he seemed to have no interest in me specifically. And he didn't really seem to have even any enthusiasm about God. He just wanted me to join his organization or his church. It was almost as if he was there just to get people in his church. And his lack of enthusiasm for God did not create in me a desire to even know anything more about what he had to say. That's as opposed to, there was one time I was in Pasadena, and I was walking down the street on Lake Avenue, and these two people walk up, and there was this older guy. Well, older to me at that point, I was 25, but he was probably like in his 50s, so not really. And so this older guy walks up to me and goes, "Hey, do you have a chance to talk?" And I said, "Sure, what do you want to talk about?" He goes, "I just got to tell you what happened to me." He goes, "I was living my life, I was working really hard, I was overworking, I was drinking, and I wasn't spending time with my family, and all these things were just kind of crunching in on me, and I reached a crisis point in my life." And as he's talking, his passion, his enthusiasm is just beaming. And I'm just digging on this guy because he's so enthusiastic. And he goes, "You know, my life was falling apart, and then suddenly something changed, and I was able to get my life back together. And right now, I'm more at peace than I've ever been in my entire life." Do you want to know what that was that changed? And I was intrigued. And I said, "Yeah, I totally want to know." And at that point, I thought he was going to tell me about his church or that Jesus had met him in some way. And he hands me this card, and he says, "I say this every day." And on it was a mantra or a saying from Buddhism, which he just repeats every day. And then he goes, "You know what? This has been so important to me. And if you want to know more about it or anything, you can join us tonight at this Buddhist temple or this Buddhist gathering, not a temple, but a gathering, and have dinner with him." And I'll tell you what, that happened to me probably 20 years ago, and I've never forgot it because his enthusiasm was contagious. And even beyond that, he wasn't telling me how I needed to change. He was just telling me how he changed. And if you want to effectively share your faith or tell someone about God and who God is, don't worry about where they need to change, but rather just share how God has already changed you. There's an amazing story in the Gospel of Mark where Jesus heals this man who is possessed by a lot of demons. In fact, they call it a legion of demons. And after this crazy healing, there are some people who see it and they don't want anything to do with Jesus. But this man, he wants everything to do with him. But Jesus says this to him: "Go now and tell your family and friends how God has shown mercy on you." Tell them everything that God has done for you. And that was enthusiasm. He went out and told people, and they were amazed at what God had done. As a prayerful, compassionate, and humble disciple, one thing that you can do, that we can do together, is simply tell people how God is working in our lives. Don't try to change people, because nobody wants to be changed. And don't even try to convince them to go to your church, because nobody wants to be just another person or another number going to someone's church. But share with them how God has worked in your life. And allow God to do the work. You know, and that's what He's going to do as you are enthusiastic about sharing the message of salvation, the message that God has given you in your life. And then see what happens. Imagine what this world would look like if those of us who've experienced a deep and radical connection with God were simply loving and compassionate and humble and we're willing to tell others where they could find help. So I hope you'll do that this week. All right, I'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.